And we are live. Hi, I'm Harrison Fagan, and this is Lakers Late Night, your Silver Screen and Roll post-game show. Your normal host, Anthony Irwin, is not here tonight. You know, here at Silver Screen and Roll, we like to pride ourselves on knowing when something isn't working, and we change up the rotation a little bit. So instead of Anthony tonight, I have here with me Blake. How's everything going for you, Blake? He writes at Silver Screen and Roll under the name The Great Mambino.
Good, man. No complaints except for that horrible game we just watched.
Yeah, so other than the horrible game, no complaints.
Yeah, no, we're good. Other than that, yeah, great.
Yeah. And we also have with us Tom Fear, who is back from a lengthy hiatus from watching an actual good sports team, the Royals, win the World Series, as you can see by his hat. So, Tom, what's it like coming back down to earth? And you went from Royals championship parade to Byron Scott rotations. How jarring of a transition was that?
It's only mildly frustrating because I'm still on a little bit of a high from everything. The crazy, the crazy parade was today. Sorry, my dog is currently stalking my cat like it's about to kill it. But yeah, no, it's still been fine. I mean, tonight's game is a little bit frustrating, but I'm okay. And you know, I never actually heard Blake's pen name said out loud before. I guess I always said in my head is the Great Mambino, just because it's like the Great Bambino. But that makes more sense because you know Kobe. Okay, I get it now.
Yeah, I think I got it right. I'm a bad host. I should have asked about that before we went on the air. But how did I get it right?
No, I mean no. It's I mean you did it fine. You did it fine.
Wait, hold on. How do you say it?
I say Mambino.
Okay, that's what I thought. Well, it's not what I thought, but that's what I learned.
Yeah, so I was right. I got it.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying. I was
Okay.
like, oh, I never thought about that before.
Exhilarating radio, guys. This is
Oh, it's riveting. I'm a little disappointed we didn't get an Anthony injury report. I thought you were going to drop one of those when you were setting up that lead-in.
Anthony's injury report is his power is out, so he was unable to watch the game or obviously host a podcast without any electricity. But anyway, so speaking of lack of something, I get lack of someone showing up. We got 0 minutes from D'Angelo Russell in the fourth quarter. I think you guys probably have some strong opinions about that. I guess, Tom, what did you think about, you were live tweeting the game for Silver Screen and Roll. What did you think about the lack of Russell down the stretch?
I don't know about strong opinion, but it's pretty frustrating. I mean, the Lakers aren't going to be good this season. They're not going to make the playoffs. Spoiler alert if you didn't know that already. But, and I get Byron, you know, and coaches do this a lot. They trust their veterans in crunch time. But as I said just recently on the Silver Screen and Roll Twitter, the first, second, and third priorities this season should be developing Russell, Randall, and Clarkson in whatever order you want to put that. Everything else, even winning, even Kobe's pride, should be secondary, and that should be the focus. That means you should probably play D'Angelo Russell in crunch time, unless he's just like having a completely abysmal game and you really need to send a message or something like that. He needs to be on the court. He needs to be getting that experience.
Do you agree with that, Blake, or do you like trusting the veterans? How do you feel?
No, I mean, I wrote about or written about this a few times. Like they have to ride or die with the kids. Like they can't pick and choose when they're going to develop them. If you're going to play them, if you're going to play them massive minutes, you're going to go ahead and start them, and you want them to have all this experience. You should be playing them in close games, which this was for most of it. I mean, I know it was an 8-point game and ultimately an 11-point game, but for the most part, it was a single-digit game, and if you're going to have that, you're going to have this team. If you're going to suffer with their defense for the whole game, you might as well go with them down the stretch because it's just invaluable experience that they need very, very badly.
Yeah, I just thought it was frustrating because the game, it actually got as close as 3, and then I believe there was a timeout, and I thought, okay, Russell has to be coming in here. He hasn't played at all in the fourth quarter, and he didn't. And the most frustrating thing about it, I think, as someone who wants the team to do well and wants those guys to develop, is you have the juxtaposition of Russell was not playing at all, but Moutier, this point guard that, you know, Byron Scott was saying doesn't have pure point guard instincts, all this stuff leading up to the game. The Nuggets have their highly touted lottery pick point guard in the game down the stretch. And yeah, did he make mistakes? Yeah, he wasn't perfect. He fouled Lou Williams, I think, twice on a three-pointer. It was at least once. But he made his mistakes, and the Nuggets were still able to pull out an ultimately for these two teams kind of meaningless win. But they were still able to win despite a rookie being in when Byron Scott had his future backcourt of Kobe and Lou Williams playing down the stretch. And, those guys could be something one day. But speaking of Kobe...
Moody was playing worse than... Sorry to interrupt. Moody was playing worse than Russell, too. I think he was 3 of 13, and he had 6 turnovers. He had a decently high assist total by the end, but the Nuggets get it. He needs to be in those games. He needs to be getting that experience.
Yeah, and I think tonight, this was probably Russell's best game so far of the regular season. I don't know. Am I off base? Do you guys agree?
I've only really gotten to watch like 1.5 games so far this year, other than the preseason, because I've been busy watching the Royals in the World Series. But
okay, well, Blake, I know you've been watching pretty much every game.
Yeah, I guess it was his best game of the season. He's kind of looked the same to me in every game, which is super tentative and not really doing anything worthy of me thinking he was. If I just went in this blind and I didn't know what his pedigree was or where he was drafted or kind of the hopes and dreams of the Lakers being pinned on him, I wouldn't think that he was a lottery pick. I really wouldn't. I mean, he really hasn't done very much of repute. He had that really nice kind of half-court pass to Hibbert in the middle of the game, and he had a couple nice drives, and he hit a 3. But I mean, I suppose this was his best game. He only had 1 turnover, which is great, I guess. He only played 20 minutes, so it's kind of hard to say. It's his 4th professional game or 4th, regular season professional game, so it's kind of hard to say. But I guess it was his best game. But the fact that I'm so hesitant to proclaim that means that he didn't really do a whole lot to distinguish himself from the rest of his performances. I mean, other than the lack of turnovers.
I just thought it looked like he had the ball in his hands a bit more tonight, and it seemed like he was seeing the floor a lot better. Now, granted, it was against the Nuggets, who are not a good defense at all, but he made a couple next-level passes where he was finding Clarkson or other players all the way across the court on no-look passes. I don't know, Tom, what did you think of his vision tonight?
I will just say right away that I think I'm pretty much very higher. That's not good English. I'm very much higher on Russell than Blake is, because I think I was listening to a few podcasts ago. I think he said something that he would one of the last words he would use to describe D'Angelo Russell was smooth or something. And I'm that's in my top 3 words that I would use to describe D'Angelo Russell. So I'm just gonna say we disagree on that. I thought he looked pretty good. He clearly, I think, has all the tools. His passing he makes a few passes a game that you're just like, whoa, that is not something that a typical NBA player makes. And his jumper looks really smooth. It looks really on target, but his legs just still sort of look dead to me. He's short on a lot of jumpers. I sort of wonder if maybe he's just not. If he's not quite has all his conditioning up, or if Byron's going extra crazy on him in practice. I'm not sure what the situation there is. Obviously, I'm not in their practices, but I thought he looked good. I thought he was making some good passes. I think he could be a little bit more aggressive going to the rim on pick and rolls. It's something that Ben and Darius over at Forum Blue and Gold pointed out tonight that I agree with. But overall, I was encouraged from what I saw.
Yeah, and so I think speaking of encouragement from the Lakers' young backcourt, Clarkson definitely had. We were talking about Russell probably had his best game of the season, and Blake was hesitant. Clarkson, I think, definitely had his best game of the season. He started out in the first half. He went, what was it? He was 8 of 10 for 20 points. He hit his first 4 threes. He tied his career high of 30. What did you guys like from Clarkson tonight? I'll go back to you, Blake.
Tom was just talking about D'Angelo's lack of aggression and kind of lack of aggression on pick and rolls and the like, but Clarkson just seems to be so confident out there that it's just so incredibly impressive that he really has no fear kind of doing pretty much anything, whether it's spotting up for threes or taking it to the rack or handling the ball. It's really impressive that for a second-year player and a second-year draft pick, and I think he's only played, I think that he's played less than 50 games, I want to say, combined this year and last year. He's essentially played half a season, and he just really looks like he doesn't give a crap, and it's just so impressive to see him out there. I mean, I know he's kind of first option in the league. He took 19 shots. I mean, he took more shots than anybody else in the game for both teams. So it's just so impressive to see how confident he is out there. Yeah, that's the first thing that I noticed. It's really incredible.
You know what? I sort of wonder if some people think it's awesome when rookies are on like a great team right away and they get a lot of, championship experience or whatever. I sort of wonder if it helped Clarkson, especially as a second round guy, to be able to come in and get playing time last year on a team that was just garbage. And that way he was able to just do whatever he wanted without, feeling bad or feeling like he needed to take a step back. Kobe wasn't there. Maybe that raised his confidence a lot. I'm not sure. But he looked really good tonight. He looked confident. He looked explosive. Whenever he has a chance to attack the basket before the defense has a chance to set up, it's pretty automatic, and he's pretty great at it.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that stuck out to me this season is he just looked a lot more under control than he did last year. Last year, he was there were times where it seemed like he was running around with like a chicken with his head cut off. And this season, I just haven't seen any of that. He's just been, like you guys said, he's been confident, but I just see it as being more controlled, a little bit more, fundamental, just control of the game, rather than just pure speed, trying to run past guys. And then the Lakers' last young guy, Julius Randle, he had a pretty good game too, 16 points, 7 of 14 shooting. Not quite as good as against Dallas, but he also wasn't being guarded by Dirk Nowitzki. What did you guys say? Tom, what did you see from him that you liked?
I don't know if you guys agree with this at all, but I was actually the most impressed with Randle out of this game, even with Clarkson having an awesome game. I thought he looked awesome. I thought whenever he was attacking the ball, he looked so much more incredibly explosive than anyone else on the floor. I thought that he just looked incredibly dangerous and competent, and he was aggressive, and he was attacking the basket, and he was finishing with dunks, and he was finishing with layups, and he was making plays with passes to, I think he threw one out to Jordan Clarkson for a corner three after a sweet break down the middle. I thought he looked awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he really is just so impressive to me. It's essentially his rookie season. Obviously, he learned a lot by just being on the team and being around those guys last year. But yeah, Tom said it. He's just, especially in comparison, Kobe's out there and Russell is, not really attacking the basket as much. It's just Randle's just so explosive out there and so fiery. He didn't have any offensive rebounds this game, but he's really, taking up the lane. The only thing that I would say is that he kind of ran into a brick wall a little bit tonight. He was guarded by Kenneth Faried, and there was I think 2 or 3 possessions where he took it into the post, and he just couldn't do anything. Like he was trying to back down Faried, and Faried's a vet, and he's a really strong leader. So that's really the only thing is that Randle's 20 years old, maybe. Yeah, he's 20, right?
He's 20.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to get stronger. He's going to get bigger. He's going to get stronger. And then when he does, when he gets that experience and starts to get that base and strengthens up his legs and his lower half, it's going to be just brutal. I mean, this guy is. I know that D'Angelo's the guy with the pedigree and stuff, and it's only his 4th game. It's only Randle's 5th game, but Randle looks like just going to be. I didn't know if he was going to be an all-star, but he looks like he's going to be an all-star at some point.
Sure, and let's not act like Randle doesn't have the pedigree too. He was.
No, he does.
He was a top 2 or 3 recruit coming out of high school, and he was most of the year considered a top 3 pick, and then sort of fell a little bit with an injury, and so right. Yeah, I think we agree. But he has quite a pedigree, and maybe most people think his ceiling might not be as high as D'Angelo Russell, but I'm very, very encouraged. And I watched all the highlights and the Dawkins highlights on YouTube of all his plays last game, and coupled with what I saw tonight, I'm very encouraged.
Yeah, I think Dirk Nowitzki's chest is probably still sore from last game, and Randle just had guys bouncing off of him. It's crazy.
I can't really explain how he goes sideways and right at you with so much force that I don't understand where the energy comes from. It just seems like he's banging against you at all times. And some of the plays where he drew fouls last night, I'm sure the last game, I'm sure it felt like the other guys thought he was beating them up, but when actually he was getting fouled by them. He's tremendously explosive. It would suck to play against him.
Yeah, it's almost like a little bit lighter version of that thing that guys who used to guard Shaq used to say, was like, wait, that was a foul on me? they would complain about Shaq's physicality a lot. It's something that I remember defenders doing, and that's I think Randall is reminiscent of him in that way. Not to say that Randall's going to be Shaq, but he's one of the NBA players I would least want to guard in person, I think.
Yeah. He probably dishes out a lot of bruises on a nightly basis.
Yeah, that does not look enjoyable. So I feel for you, NBA power forwards, watching this. And then another kind of encouraging thing from tonight's game, before we get into the bad, was the Ryan Kelly and Brandon Bass front court. We haven't gotten a lot of positives from them, so I guess the positive is that it looks like they're done. In the second half, it was mostly Tarek Black playing with, I think it was Ryan Kelly for most of the rest of the game. And it looks like that Bass-Kelly front court is finally gone. Any you guys want to pour one out for them? Anything you have to say?
No, I'm not actually going to pour one out. Yeah, no, that seemed like a disaster. It looked like a disaster. I don't know why it happened in the first place, but as long as it's not a thing going forward, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, that was not pleasant to watch. They just kind of let guys walk into the paint and score, and so it's nice to have them gone. And I thought the Lakers looked, I mean, it's a matter of degrees. They didn't look good defensively tonight, but they looked a little bit better with Black in there definitely than they did with Kelly and Bass, right?
Right. I mean, I don't know how you could even hope to have any semblance of rim protection when your two forwards in the game are Brandon Bass and Ryan Kelly, or even hope of out-rebounding the opponent. It just wouldn't be there.
Yeah, someone that could help with rim protection and out-rebounding the opponent is Roy Hibbert, who was seemingly...
Sorry.
Yeah. Hey, I'm getting better at these transitions. Come on, man. That was seamless, and then you ruined it. Roy Hibbert, who didn't play much in the second quarter. I don't think he played at all in the fourth quarter. What do you guys think was going on? Blake, what do you think was going on there? It seemed like the Nuggets were kind of going small, and Byron Scott decided to try and stay small-ish, I guess, with Black. I don't know. What do you think was going on there?
I don't really quite understand what's happening with Hibbert's minutes. He doesn't seem to play that much. Overall, I mean, he's averaging 25 minutes a game.
I think for his career, just to cut in for a second, I think for his career he's about at 29. But it's bizarre because he was playing 30 plus in the preseason, and now he's playing.
I mean,
sorry, just to interrupt. Last year, for whatever it's worth, he averaged 25.3 minutes a game.
Okay, so maybe he's just not. I confess to not having watched a whole lot of Pacers basketball over the past few years, but I mean, he doesn't seem to be on the court for that long. I mean, he only played 17 minutes tonight. I really don't know. I mean, I guess the Nuggets just generally, maybe Byron's trying to play matchups. Generally, they don't play big guys. I mean, they started the game with Hickson and Fareed, so it's not like they played big guys. They didn't have. They don't have really. I think Darrell Arthur is their biggest guy, and he's 6'10", 6'11". I mean, they don't really play. They don't play anybody for Hibbert's size, and I guess they're going a little bit faster and a little bit smaller, and that has to be the logic. I mean, other than that, I mean, there's really no. When Tarek Black's in, there's a little bit of rim protection, but really, I mean, it's obviously not the same as when Hibbert's in. So I guess I understand the logic, but at that point, you gotta figure a way. I mean, they were just destroying the Lakers on the inside. I mean, I don't really understand why they wouldn't play him.
Yeah, and Tarek Black is a competent rim protector if he's your backup center. Like, that's not a big issue. But if your starting center is only playing half the game, then it does become an issue. So, there are a lot of issues with the Lakers defensively, both now and going forward, and with the coaching staff and the system. But my theory is he just realized...
Byron's going for 5 straight bottom 10 offensive efficiency, I think, right? Or bottom 5?
I think he's got a good shot.
Yeah.
My theory is that he just realized in the second half of the game that, holy crap, I haven't played Tarek Black at all this year. I better make up for that and give him some minutes right now.
He noticed Tarek Black. Tarek Black was like, "Coach, why aren't I playing?" He's like, "Oh crap, you're still here."
You're on the team?
Oh,
get in there, kid.
That's right. We cut Brown, not Black. Got my color last names mixed up.
Wow. Push it. I love it.
So last member of the starters that we haven't talked about, we went through Russell, Randall, Clarkson, Hibbert, is the elephant in the room, Kobe. I personally thought he was a little bit better tonight in that he wasn't actively harmful to the team like he was against Dallas. I don't know. What did you think, Tom?
Kobe trying to not be
okay, offensive, harmful. But all we're asking for from him at this point is offensively realistic. He's not going to start. He's not going to break these bad defensive habits now. It's just not happening.
He did some good things tonight. He had some nice passes. He took one. He got a nice screen from someone. I don't remember who it was, and hit a nice, just simple pull-up open jumper, and he drilled it. But he had like 4 horribly ugly plays again, and it's just getting sad to watch. I loved watching Kobe for all these years, even when he slowed down. Even when he was shooting 40%, when he came back, when it was last year, a couple of years ago, when he went into crazy assist mode and he was just determined to get all the assists. That was
facilitator
really fun
mode.
Crazy facilitator mode. But he had an open 3 where he didn't even hit the rim. He had another one where he he airballed, and he had a play where he got it on the post way too deep, and the ball stuck, and then he backed him down, didn't really get anywhere, and tried to go for the pump fake, and no one fell for the pump fake, and then he got away with the travel, and then he forced a bad shot. There have always been, a couple of ugly Kobe plays a game, but he's looked competent doing it. Right now, they just look really bad, and it makes me sad.
Blake, do you think that Kobe was the 200th best player in the league tonight?
Maybe not 200. Maybe like 170th or something. I mean, what's really kind of glaringly apparent to me is that he just is really his legs aren't there. I mean, his 3-pointers are just, every time I see him shoot a 3-pointer, it's just like, it's cringeworthy. Because they're barely getting there. And there was one. I mean, I think he had one hard brick off of the left side tonight. It just looks so bad. I mean, he really just doesn't look like fit to play NBA basketball. And I think a lot of the nice plays that he's having are just based on his footwork and kind of his guile and his intelligence. As Tom was just talking about, like the guy's just so damn smart that he makes it work, but physically he's just so clearly not there, and he's trying to do a lot of the things that he used to be able to do, and it's really harmful to the team. I really can't state that enough.
And even with older Kobe, like the last 3 to 5 years, he obviously hasn't been the same explosive player that he was in his younger years. He's not dunking on people really or anything. But you could tell that he still had lift. And when he did a fadeaway jumper, he got separation. Yeah. And when he was under the basket and needed to get a little bit of separation with a little bit of a step or a jump, or he still had a quick first step, he was able to do it. He still had that sort of athleticism. And right now it just doesn't look there.
Yeah, Drew Garrison wrote a really great piece today with a lot of really awesome screen grabs and graphs and stuff like that. And it kind of illustrated how poorly Kobe was choosing his shots, and just like how little space he had to make those shots, and just exactly what Tom's talking about. It's like there's not enough lift, and there's not enough energy, there's not enough boost, and not enough like strength to create that separation anymore. And it's really killing him. It's just like absolutely murdering his shot.
Yeah, and then some of them are just plain bad shots. I just think that if he would cut back a little bit. What?
They're the same bad shots that he's always taken, but now they just look worse.
Yes, I agree.
The one thing that I liked tonight was that he took less shots, I guess. He was averaging about 20 shots a game, and tonight he only took 11. So it's that's kind of what I meant when I was saying he wasn't as actively harmful tonight. He looked like he was passing a little bit better. So I just thought overall he was better than he's been so far, but that's, again, an incredibly low bar to clear.
Yeah, you know what? And he had 29 minutes. He only took 11 shots. He only attempted 3 free throws, so it's not like he was taking a ton of possessions. And he only had 1 turnover. So it's I guess we should give him credit there that he said he was going to take a step back, and at least based on this game, he did. He's still stuck.
He had 6 assists too, which is, I believe, more than he's had so far this season, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Cat just knocked over the ping pong ball. I think he had 5.
That's going to be great for our iTunes-only listeners. Just randomly,
Yeah.
Cat knocked over the ping pong ball.
Cat knocked over the ping pong ball. Yeah, he had 5 assists, 1 turnover, only took 11 shots, 3 free throws. So, I mean, I guess we should give him credit there. He said he was going to take a step back, and he did. But like I was saying, the ball still stuck a little bit too much on a few possessions. I figure at this point that's just who Kobe is. He's probably not going. He's still going to occasionally do that, but yeah, if he goes sort of into a lower usage player that tries to pick his spots, it will be less of a distraction for the team, and I think it would be better for the young guys too.
It's just sad to be talking about Kobe as, like, not how can he be good, but how can he be less of a distraction or less harmful.
Right, and even last year, and he was shooting 40%, but the offense was still better when he was on the court just because he commanded a lot of attention, he still was making some passes, and he still was able to draw the defense in on shots. And now we just have to focus on him not being a negative, and that makes me sad.
Yeah. Blake, you have anything to add? Yeah, you've obviously watched Kobe for a long time.
I don't think it's going to be like this for the whole season, presuming that he plays more than 20 games. Which is not a given. Yeah. I think he'll round it. I think he'll get in a better shape. I think he'll knock off some of the rust. I don't think he'll look quite as old as he does now, which is, as we've said, kind of not really fit, like, to be on the NBA level of athleticism. I think a little bit of that will shake, and he's always been known for his adjustments. So I presume that he'll find some way to become efficient, some way that I'm not really thinking of right now, or more efficient, I should say. So I don't think he'll be this bad the whole season, but there's always a chance that maybe he's just 37 and had a bad shoulder and a torn Achilles and a broken knee. I mean, and maybe that's just all taking its toll, plus the minutes and everything. So maybe this is just it. Who knows? I mean, it's hard to say.
Play the breaking news music. Oh, we don't have that synced up. Just kidding.
No.
Byron asked what D'Angelo Russell could do or needed to do to be on the court at the end of games. Quote, "I don't know." Really insightful stuff from the Lakers head coach.
Oh.
This is why he's paid the big bucks, folks.
Speaking of insightful stuff from the Lakers head coach, I did want to ask you guys what you thought, and I have an opinion on this as well, but what you guys thought about Scott before the game talking about why the Lakers didn't pick Moody and why they would have taken Clarkson ahead of him. I don't know if you guys...
I didn't really... Yeah, I heard a little bit of that, but was he asked about that specifically, or...
I didn't watch the press conference. I know the quotes that came out of it from reading the stories. I would assume he was asked at least about Moody, not maybe necessarily why would you guys pass on him. Maybe I would imagine it was something more like what did you guys see from him in pre-draft workouts, something closer to that. But what did you guys think of?
That's the situation where you always just say, yeah, you know what, hey, he's a great player, he's going to be a great player. We just really believe in D'Angelo Russell, blah, blah, blah. He has his great passing. We really wanted a shooter on the team. Instead of phrasing it like, oh, well, he's not good at this, and we didn't like that.
For those people that didn't hear it, I have the quotes here. He said, I didn't think he was a true, but this is Byron Scott talking about Moody. I didn't think he was a true point guard, Scott said of Moody. I didn't think he was a guy who made great decisions when we saw him and had him here. I thought that was something he would have to learn to do to run that position. And then he went on, he said he was pretty athletic, he was possibly going to be pretty good. This is from Mark Medina's story on the practice. But I just thought that was a bad look for the coach and a guy who represents the organization to kind of insult this other player from another team. I don't know. What did you think, Blake?
It's just such an incredibly, like why would you... I don't know what coach in the league would make it about the other player, especially because it's clearly a question of comparison. Like, I don't understand why you wouldn't just make it all about D'Angelo Russell and just like nothing against Moody. Like, why would you give him? Why would you give him that ammunition, knowing that he's going to play against you in 3 hours? I mean, like Moody, like I thought he was much more aggressive. I mean, he was much more aggressive than Russell in the minutes that they played, especially when they were guarding each other. And I think I know why that is. I mean, I know he's. I've heard that Moody, however the hell you say his name.
I think it's Moody. I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah, I know that he's been kind of very vocal about how he really doesn't like that he was picked after Russell, and he's made a point of talking about it in the past. But so I don't understand why you'd give him that kind of ammunition.
And it's not even just about that they're playing him in a couple hours. It's like you guys said. Usually, you're just supposed to say, yeah, we liked him. We thought he was a great guy. If we were picking at 8, we would have picked him. But we just really like D'Angelo Russell too.
It's just a bad look. Like, what if Byron wants to continue to be in the league? What if he's on some coaching staff 5 years from now that Moody Eye's on, or one of Moody Eye's close friends is on? That makes an awkward situation. Or what if hey, it would be not to be the #future Laker crowd, but what if Moody Eye has a chance to be a Laker in the future? He's probably going to remember that. We
like your instincts now.
There's reasons you don't say those kind of things, especially about a first-year player who's less than 5 games into his career.
Yeah, so silly.
Yeah.
I don't think Byron's very smart, is what I'm getting at.
Okay, well, getting back to Byron, we talked a little bit about the Black starting to get minutes again, Kelly and Bass being out. What did you guys think overall of the rest of his rotations tonight, or anything else from Byron? Because he's obviously been a big talking point. The Lakers are 0-4, and he's kind of just chalked it up to the team isn't being tough enough. And I don't know if you guys have anything you want to say about that, or...
Nothing wrong with the X's and O's, Harrison. As Byron Scott told us himself, it's all about toughness and manning up.
It's kind of...
It's about
like, toughness. At what point is that a bad look, too? Is that as bad as...
It's a terrible look.
Moody Eye.
I think many things he say leads to a terrible look. It's... Why don't you just say, hey, you know what? We have a young team. It's going to be a process. I have to figure out how to coach them better. Everyone has to figure out how to run my system better. We're going to get through this together. Instead, he's like, oh, they're not tough enough. They didn't man up. They need to come with not that weak crap. And it's just another bad look.
I just don't. It kind of confuses me when he says things like that about what he really understands about this season and what it means. Because I know the competitor in him wants to. He's obviously been in playoff battles and he's coached playoff teams before. But he can't possibly, really in his heart of hearts believe that this is a playoff team, because that's the kind of thing that you say about, a team that's supposed to be contending or supposed to be tougher or supposed to be mentally tougher. This team isn't supposed to be mentally tough. It's a bunch of children and a bunch of guys, a bunch of children and a bunch of role players. I don't understand how exactly what Tom is saying, how is that not exactly what he's talking about, which is look, we have to trust the process here. We have to understand we got a bunch of people coming together that have never played together before. Pretty much everybody on this team is new to the system, new to both offensive and defensive systems. I don't understand how that's not exactly what he's saying here. It's really disconcerting to me how different his mindset is versus silver screen and roll and kind of the Lakers blogging community at large is viewing this season. It's really disconcerting.
I think Byron is the personification of the I don't know what I'm doing dog meme. I don't know if you've seen that meme, but if you do, you know what I'm talking about. I've ranted about this many times, and I'm sure I will before, and maybe it's not the best look for me because I constantly complain about Byron, but it just doesn't seem like he does anything. What does he do during a game? He doesn't make any adjustments. He just stands there with his arms crossed, usually with the same expression on his face. We actually caught him with an angry face today, which I appreciate. It was like, oh, hey, different face. But he seems like a computer-generated NBA head coach that has random responses to random situations. Oh, your team started off 0-3. Choose motivation pitch of they're not tough enough. You got to man up. Tough love pitch. Increase practice intensity to 100. And I don't know. He's frustrating.
Well, actually, getting back to his Moody Eye comments, Emmanuel Moody Eye, after collecting 10 assists tonight, this is from Chris Dempsey, Denver beat writer. Thank you, Byron Scott, for saying I'm not a point guard. So, I guess he got the last laugh on that one, as most people do, or at least seem to when they have a battle of words with Scott recently. That was just another thing this season. Just another
Sorry,
thing.
I could keep complaining about Byron for another few hours if you want to keep going. But
no, that's
okay.
I think we've trashed him enough for tonight.
Okay.
We can wait another game. They're 0-4. He took the L, so. Yeah, I mean, I guess the last thing that I guess I should ask is, what do you guys think of his job security? Do you think that there's anything that could happen this season that could lead to him being let go, or do you think that his Laker blood keeps him safe? Blake?
Yeah. I can't remember who I was talking. I think I was talking with Drew about this maybe today or yesterday, but. I mean, really, the only thing that can get him, I think, could really get him fired is if situations exactly like this where D'Angelo's not playing the fourth quarter, or D'Angelo doesn't look better in game 82 than he did 4 games ago, or Julius Randle doesn't look any better, or Jordan Clarkson gets worse, or whatever it is. I mean, really, I think in their heart of hearts, I think the front office knows what this is, and they know exactly what this season's about, and it's just all about them getting better and about establishing value for their players, whether they be veterans or inexperienced young guys. That's what it's all about. And if they're not getting better, then I think he'll get fired. I mean, I think they could go. I honestly think they could go 20-62, and he'd still keep his job, because as long as the young guys are getting better, I think they're going to give him one chance, so one season, to kind of to play with a quote-unquote competitive team, which should hopefully be next season. So I would be surprised if he got fired if the young guys didn't continue on the trajectory they're on now, which is, Randall looks like he's going to get better, and Russell looks like he'll get better, and Clarkson looks like he's better already. So I think as long as that's still happening, he's fine. But he's also just saying a lot of stupid shit. So who knows? I mean, yeah.
Tom, what do you think? Do you think he's safe, or do you have a differing opinion?
I have no idea about his job security, because I still don't know if the Lakers hired him seriously or not. And this is a discussion I have constantly.
They gave him 8 job interviews, Tom. It was a serious process.
But and this is a conversation I have with Jerry. I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name. The Armo trader. How is his head?
Kachoian.
Yeah, that.
I believe.
And he is a very smart individual, and so I give credence to his case that he believes that Mitch Kupchak and Jim Buss hired Byron Scott with the understanding of they knew he was a terrible coach, and they were okay with it because he was a former Laker. It would get him good PR, and they would basically be awful and get a great draft pick, and that's how we ended up with D'Angelo Russell. I'm not sure I believe that, and I wish that I did, but I'm not sure if I do. And whether that was a serious hire or not might say something about his job security. If maybe they're fine with it and they're just going to wait until the end of the season and then let him go. Maybe they're outraged at how terrible he is and they're going to let him go in the middle of the season. Maybe they think he's doing a fine job and they're just going to stick with him. I don't know. I have no idea about his job security. I know that I would have him. I would have fired him long ago. So I don't know if I would fire him at this very instant. But I really don't know.
Okay, yeah, I guess it's just it's one more thing to watch for as the season continues on. The Lakers look for their first win. They will play next. I believe it's on Friday against the Nets, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they next play Friday against the Nets, and just to kind of end on a very zen note, I'm going to give you guys a quote from Kobe right now after the game. He was asked what he would say to fans freaking out about the 0-4 start. Quote, "Freak out. It's good for the soul." So you may think that we're ranting and raving, but we're just doing what Kobe told us to do. So Blake, Tom, thank you guys for coming on.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah, we're freaking out. We just spent the last 30 minutes freaking out about Byron Scott and Roy Hibbert and rotations and D'Angelo Russell. So we're just doing Kobe's work. You're welcome.
It's all for you, Kobe.
God bless you.
For watching.
All right. Thanks for coming on, guys. I'll talk to you later.
No problem.
Thanks, Harrison.